it's gonna be stout. It's not gonna be necessarily correct, but it's gonna be stout, which I think is more important. Something's smoking over there, hopefully. Oh, there's fuel, I guess, right in that filter. Is it perfect? No. Is it good enough for us? Absolutely. Good morning. Welcome back to Tiger's Garage. We're obviously back on Stinkbug this weekend, working on the floors. This weekend's goal is to get to a point where we can actually start welding. It doesn't feel like we're that far away, but this whole thing has been taking longer than I thought it would. So we'll see how far we get. Where we left off, we got the big main patch panel built, but there's really no bracing and the cab mounts are still out of it. So first things first today, we're actually not going to work on the floor. We're going to work on those cab mounts, get them bolted back up there. That way maybe we can reattach the rear of the cab and then we'll start bracing. So we are going to rebuild cab mounts with new bushings from LMC Truck. Now they basically these just go like this, right? And there's a bushing that goes in here. The new bushings fit a lot looser than the old ones, but I'm thinking maybe once they put the squeeze on them, they expand a bit. But what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put the bushing on the post, set the shackle on it, other bushing. I am gonna grease this a little bit to keep things moving, especially since I painted it. And we'll slide flange down, new bushing, old shackle, another bushing. We'll do the same for the other side. I believe that's how they go. And then we got this plate and then a couple nuts. And I think we squeeze them down and that kind of is going to expand the bushing and make it fit better, is my hope. So we'll just take a little bit at a time. All right, so this is one of the two rear cab mounts. And they mount this way, like relative to the cab, one into the frame, one into the bottom of the cab. So they allow rocking this way, but not a bunch this way. So where I want to start is I also got some new hardware. We're going to dive underneath into the rusty hell that is my garage floor and bolt these back up. This is going to effectively set the distance, or it's going to limit the distance that the rear of the cab can be from the frame. But I do want to get these attached before I start building any other braces or adding our isolators or anything like that, because these obviously have to fit, and then we'll kind of brace up to the floor. Okay, so I'm going to grab a light and some gloves. I'm going to go underneath 3/8 bolts, 1.25 inches long, bolt these to the frame first, and then I will push or lower the cab down onto them, and these actually bolt through the floor. You can see up there I got the new cab mount, that's driver's side, bolted in. Up here inside the cab, these two bolts are the new ones that are coming through. Now the factory had a big thick plate here that was actually threaded. They didn't use nuts, it was like a backer plate. We may do something like that. For now I have it this way. Remember, our whole cab attachment strategy is different than the factory. So we don't need as much pull-out resistance, let's say, at this point, because we're going to have a bar right here, we're going to have a bar right here. It's all going to tie together. So we're spreading the load more than the factory did. So we may end up leaving this. We got both the rear cab mounts reinstalled and tight. So now I think what we're going to do is actually take this flat panel back out and measure for our cross support that's going to come right about here where this line of clecos is, or just in front of this brace, kind of in line with this B-pillar. We also may, while it's apart, drill and maybe permanently mount this one with our isolator, because I have that sheet of rubber now. We'll do the same for this. So I'm going to move you guys, unclamp everything, pop these clecos, peel this big piece back off, and we will cut some more sticks and make another cross brace right here. We got this piece sitting on its isolators. We're going to take a measurement back here, and we're going to cut another brace, 57.5. We'll let us probably sand it where we need to go. So I have a piece of 1-inch channel, 1 inch tall, that we're going to use for the brace back here. We're going to have to kind of modify it a little bit. And that flat flange is going to be great for the same thing. Welding and then seat mounting. We'll have things that we could run stringers along. So I have this piece of 1-inch tall channel sitting here. There's obviously a big gap between the bottom of the floor and the top of this. That's okay. What I'm going to do is take the drop from the other side of this, flip it, and kind of clamshell it. So that'll give us a flat surface on the bottom here. It'll also raise us up the thickness of this, which I think is an 8. And then we also have to account for our 1/4 inch of rubber, which will go here as an isolator pad, and that's going to put us just about where we want to be. From the factory, the back of these cabs are a touch lower than the front, that's going to give us that setup. So I have the fab done on our rear, we'll call it rear cab floor support. That's a nice long name. Basically, I took that piece of channel I showed you. I cut small 4-inch pieces, flipped them upside down and welded it on there. So this is a flat surface sitting on the frame. I drilled a hole through it, and that hole is big enough for a 9/16 socket to go through. There is a hole on the bottom. What is the bottom in this configuration? That is smaller than this, size for a 3/8 bolt. What I need to do now is mark the frame on both sides, drill the frame so a 3/8 bolt will drop through it. This is how we'll tighten it, wrench on the bottom, not a big deal. And then we're gonna cut our rubber isolator, sneak it under here, put a hole in it somehow. And then that's how this piece will attach to the frame. It will be isolated via 1/4 inch rubber, much like the rest of the cab. With this support, I need to do basically the same thing, and it will be our main floor supports. Yes, we have these two, and yes, we have the two in the back, although my goal is most of the heavy lifting is done by these. The whole idea is this stuff is going to hold the cab up better than before. So I went ahead and made both of our supports, and I have them actually bolted in there. I had to take the front floor out to drill these holes, but that's okay. I fixed this wire too while everything's out of there. It's obviously plenty long, but for now, we don't care. It's connected, so we can troubleshoot later. There's going to be a lot of like putting back together that we have to do. The other thing that obviously needs to happen is we got to fit the seat. It's going to go in this region, as far back as we can get it. I don't know that I could get the seat frame in here with that in there. So I may end up cutting that out, or maybe I could sneak it in, but we got to get the floor kind of in for that anyway. So, all right, so I got everything back in here. As you could see, Cleco down front. I went ahead, this is the old, obviously, trans cover. It doesn't fit that good. I didn't bolt or drill any holes for that yet. I think we're gonna use rib nuts, and I gotta beat it around a little bit, so I'm gonna kind of get the other stuff tacked in place first. But this is how it sits with our two braces. Now, still have a little spring here, which isn't that surprising, but before I strike an arc, which we're very close to doing, I think what I'm gonna do is a couple just gut checks. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fit all the pedals, because I think this panel doesn't have to come out anymore. But I'm gonna fit the pedals to make sure they fit in those holes where I want them. And then I'm also gonna try to get the seat frame out of the back of the truck, snake it in here somehow, and maybe mark that out, because I would like to run a couple stringers to bolt to. That would take some of this pop can out of it too. That is where the pedal will go. That is about where that pedal will go. I'm going to end up enlarging this also. I'll do that on both. So, which means this panel's coming out again, which is not that big of a deal. But I did have some concerns, and this is why, like, remember before we'd push the clutch in and it'd kind of stick down? It's because it was getting bound up on this. And I really don't want that to happen again. I tried a bunch of different return spring to get it to come back, and it just didn't work. We just need clearance, and I don't want it to squeak. I could probably adjust that so it's close, but it's nothing while this panel's out to just do a little trim. So I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm not even gonna worry about the gas right now because there's enough play in that to make it work. So I'm gonna take both these back out, and then I think we'll dig the seat out and we'll have a look at this. Okay, so bad news. The seat frame won't fit in the truck with the bracing also in the truck. Can't cut the bracing because nothing's welded. So I got the seat frame out. I'm gonna take a couple measurements, hold a hole mounting wise, midpoint, and we'll just kind of draw it out, and then we'll add some braces and we'll just give ourselves a little fudge room. So what I figured out was the bolt pattern on the seat bracket was about 47.5, 47 5/8. So half of 47.5 is 23 3/4. That is this is the center line here. 23 3/4 out is this line here. I did the same on the other side. So along this line, and that one over there is where we need to have our braces so our seat can engage those braces. And it's gonna have to happen after it's already tacked in place because I can't get the seat in. So I need to think about all of that when I'm trying to figure out how I want my seat. I also don't know where it's gonna land fore and aft, because I basically want the back of it touching this. I want as much leg room as I can get. All right, so here's what we got going on. The panel's missing, obviously. They're not missing, I took it off. This is where one of our stringers needs to go. Probably gonna put one in the middle, and then we got one on the other side. This is real close to 16 inches. It just kind of worked out that way. A little bit shy. I went ahead and I built 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. that are gonna fit 1, 2, 3 between our two aftermarket floor supports. The two on the outside will be spaced to be as wide as the mounting pattern on our factory bench seat. The one in the middle is mostly for symmetry. They fit really good, so I'm gonna press them down in there, weld them in. Then I'm gonna pull all the panels back out. I got to clearance the driver's side floorboard for some pedal action. And then we got to start tacking this thing in. I think I have overthought everything enough. The seat mount, I mean, people put different seats and stuff all the time. It ain't that big of a deal to do that with a floor in it. So I want to get everything tacked, the big chunks at least today is kind of my goal. There's still a couple patch panels and stuff we need to build, like the e-brake pedal hole, don't need it. Battery cover hole, don't need it. Going to ignore the whole trans tunnel area for now, because when I build those, I want to have the floor somewhat in there so I can kind of beat and shape on it. But if we could get that big main piece under the seat and the front floor pans tacked in and maybe take some weight off the cab and see if it settles, I feel like we'd be in a good spot. Part of the reason I want to get all this tacked up is I want to move this stupid hoist out of the way. I've hit my head on it more times than I can count. All right, this stuff is 1.25 inch, like 0.85 wall, I think. I had it laying around. I'm kind of running out from our little metal supermarket strip. I bought some stuff that I didn't need, and I didn't buy enough of the stuff that I do need, which is kind of how it goes when you're totally guessing. Also, if we get it tacked up, I can push the truck out and finally blow the shop out, because it's driving me just a little bit crazy. I can't see nothing. Have I told you this is why I want to move this hoist? I don't even know if I got the two. Oh, that looks like a tack weld. Great. The substructure is in there. It's welded in, it's welded to the rockers. Now everything else is going to kind of weld to it and to the cab. So I want to make sure one last time that it is where it needs to be before we make it permanent. Here it is. What I believe to be the final product. Is it perfect? No. Is it good enough for us? Absolutely. Wait until I get this thing welded in. Couple patch panels made, coat of paint, carpet. You will not even know that I don't know what I'm doing. Here's the deal. Everything fits pretty good. I got all the panels punched. What I'm going to do is slowly go around and start tacking this stuff in place. I'm going to start probably up here, driver's side up, and kind of work my way down and back. That way I'm not laying on hot tacks. It's going to take forever. That's just part of the game. We're going to jump around, go slow. I do think we're ready to start welding. So I'm going to put my earphones in and do that for the next 36 to 48 hours. And I will see you guys when we have a tacked up floor.
Okay, hey, I've just been welding for the past couple hours. I got a lot of tacks in here. Let's have a look. Doesn't really look like much, I guess, but I've got every panel tacked in place, kind of. Obviously not fully, but it's in there. And it's in there enough to where I'm thinking about at least cutting this cross brace out, because I am tired of banging my head on it, and it'd be nice if I could, like, sit in there. You know what I mean? The door bars can probably stay. Before we do that, I think it's time to find out if all this overbuilding did anything for us. So I'm going to put tape measure on the running board. I'm going to show you guys. We'll learn at the same time. If I let the cab lifter down and the cab falls at all, we didn't do a very good job. Now this measurement doesn't matter at all. We're kind of just using this as a scale. The tape measure is sitting on the running board. The running board is attached to the frame. The cab is not attached to the running board, so they're going to move independently of each other. On the count of 3, I'm going to lower the cab lifter. 1, 2, 3. All right, I was looking up. Did it move? I don't think it did. So cab lifter fully not helping anything. I didn't really look at our measurement, but it's like 5 1/4 from the bottom, I guess. That's a weird way to measure something, but like it's just a scale. I think we got a pretty solid cab now. I'm excited about that. That's great news that our cab didn't move. I do think that's gonna do it for this episode of Tiger's Garage. And then next time you see Stinkbug, we gotta hang doors, we gotta figure out seats, you gotta kind of put everything back together. So please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.